back again, and we are going to give On the Run mission another shot. If you haven't watched the previous video or series of videos I had over mission 1, go back and rewatch those. They'll have a link in the description, and you can kind of see where, or at least how far I got and where we messed up. Alright, so right now, before we get too far into it, I want to just go over the setup real quick, everything we've done. So we've got our two characters. The ones we went with were Bog Conjurer and the Blood Sport Brawler, and I'll show you their cards in just a second. We did get the board set up and ready to go. We got the bounty level set at 3. We're starting in the Brutalberg Castle. We have our clue 6 here set up, our clue 2, our clue 3, our clue 1. We have the impassable space here marked. We have the law spaces here marked as well, and that's all that we have on the board. Everything has been chosen for our characters. First one that we went with was Bloodsport Brawler, kind of a real tanky class, has a lot of survivability with health. I opted to do this. I went with their suggested weaknesses, which you don't randomly draw for those weaknesses, you just kind of take what's listed on their card. For that is called an old battle wound. When I become fatigued, I will also become weakened. So that is 2 experience that I gave myself. So we started at 4, and then we went to 6. The skill that she has is Foe Killer. My melee attacks inflict +1 damage against targets with XP Val 3 or more. Now, in order to get that, I have to be in the combat stance. We have the Spiked Gauntlet, which is our weapon. In the attack stance, then we use Strength. In the guarded stance, it uses Agility. So Strength is good at 9. Her Agility is better, or not better. Strength is better. Agility is good at 8. Those are 2 really good numbers. Then we have War Paint, which is kind of like a consumable. Discard this card to become blessed and exalted. So we'll see if we have a chance to use that one. And then we have our Bog Conjurer. Lift that up a little bit more. So what we have is the weakness for the Bog Conjurer. Again, it's the suggested weakness, which is you become demoralized when you fail a recovery test if you also rested on the previous turn. So I'm going to have to really keep an eye out for that one. That one was also 2 XP, so we went from 10 to 12. We'll just do skill is 6th Sense. I'm immune to ambush. Adventurers in your party add +1 to their perception while they test against ambush. So that's really good. So he doesn't even have to test for ambush, but anybody else that might be ambushed gets +1 to their perception. So really like that. Totem Stick is his weapon. He uses the Strength ability, and this does have reach, but this will come into play if like a certain card or some other kind of ability somewhere else. So when we make a Force March test, I roll 3 dice and use any 2. So that's really nice. We have a Spirit Guide, and this is kind of neat here, so I kind of like this guy. So when I'm outdoors, I may explore in any map stance, and you may use magic instead of perception when you do. But if you roll a 12, discard this card. If you are a Bog Conjurer, you become demoralized and suppressed if you lose this card for any reason. So if we lose that card due to that effect or some other reason, then we become demoralized and suppressed. So hopefully we can try to hang on to that thing and not lose it. So that is all of our characters and all of their equipment. We have everything set up and ready to go. Now we did, as far as the setup goes, we removed all of the XP Val 3 from Law, Wetlands, Badlands, Highlands Monster, and Lowlands Monster. So we already have all those set. We took the 2 cards, and I've already shuffled those. So it's the Soothsayer's Head and the Fungal Parasite that already shuffled. And then we have the 3 cards that have told us to just completely remove from the campaign altogether. So with that, we're all set up. We're all ready to go. I've got everything shuffled. Got all the cards. Everything is set. We are ready to start our first round of our second time on this mission. Okay guys, so we're ready to go ahead and get this started. The first thing we're going to do is actually be starting the first map phase for this game. Now, before we do that, or right as starting the map phase, we need to determine what stance we want to put our heroes in. Now, as I did before, like I said, just breaking out of a castle, I'd really like to put them in a guarded or a cautious stance just because they are, they're not trying to attract too much of attention. So we'll leave them in the cautious stance, and that may help us out later on, depending on certain situations. All right, so now that we know what stance we're in, we're going to go ahead and take our action, which is going to be foot travel, because that's the only thing we can do. That or rest, but we don't need to rest. So we're going to foot travel, which we can only go to the next space here, which is still on the road. And then once we're done with that, we move into the danger phase. And here's our danger card. Alright, so goblin warbands hunt for slaves and plunder, their war horns resounding across the wasteland. Alright, so we're going to go look for the wasteland, and that is going to get increased by 1, the danger level there. And increase that danger level by 1. We know the wasteland was red, so we'll go look for the wasteland. I believe that is right here. Alright, so that's going to go from a 3 to a 4. And now we can go back and consult the rest of our danger card here. Alright, so we don't have to do anything with a Hand of Doom because it's not on the board yet. So what we're going to do is consult this number here. Now, if this number is equal to or less than the number of the current danger level, we will have to draw encounter cards. So we need to go find out what our danger level is. Remembering from last game that anywhere in the blue territory we are that doesn't have their own specific danger level, like the graveyard, Brutalburg Castle, the Order, which these two are town levels, they use the fields. This is the territory danger level here. So if the card is at a 1, that number is equal to or less than the fields. So if that number was higher, unfortunately this is a terrible number to get because it's like no matter what, you're going to be drawing an encounter card. There were some things that we can do if we were in the cautious stance, which we were. We could actually roll a perception test on both of the adventurers in our party. And if we were able to pass the perception test, we could effectively lower it's actually called a stealth test. We could lower the danger level, increase the danger level card by 1. In this case, it wouldn't help because even if we increase this number to a 2, it would still match what the field danger level is. So we need to just go ahead and resolve this. This is actually unfortunate for us because this is right out of the gate. So what we need to do is we need to draw an encounter card for the territory we're in. So that is going to be a lowlands encounter. So we draw that and resolve it. Alright, and this is resolve immediately. Your enemies enact a dark ritual to contact something from the other side, conjuring forth a doorway to the spirit world and shimmering the shimmering realms beyond. At the end of each combat round, place a number of wounds on this card equal to the total XP value of the monsters in this space, not including monsters that are dazed or hexed. At the start of a combat round, if there are 5 or more wounds on this card, place a void gate counter in your space. At the start of a combat round, if there are 13 or more wounds on this card, each search for the epic monster deck and discard pile for the Serpent Lord, and it joins the fight this round. Then remove all counters from this card and discard it. So we'll set this aside so we know that we'll just kind of add those wounds to it. And now what we need to do is draw the number of enemies here equal to what our party size is. So we have 2. So we'll be drawing 2 lowlands monsters since that's the territory we're in. Alright, the first one we got is a feral scratcher. This is a human scratcher wild. He is going to go to the one with the highest magic. So we need to go over here and see who that is. Alright, our Bog Conjurer has a magic of 9. And the Bloodsport Brawler is 5, so definitely it's going to the Bog Conjurer. He has no arrival ability, so we don't need to worry anything with him until we actually start fighting. This creature is weird. it is going to go to the one with the lowest magic, which we know that that is going to be our Bloodsport Brawler. Alright, so Curse, that's what we're looking at. Curse is this monster's target must make a magic test. If you fail this test, you lose a luck and become demoralized. Alright, so that happens immediately. It's an arrival ability. So we'll go ahead and test our magic, which is really low. Oh my god, we got to get a 5 or higher. So let's go ahead. Okay, no, a 5 or lower, but we totally failed on that one. So we are demoralized and we've lost a luck. So we need to go. So we have -1 MRL. That's going to be until we recover. And we have lost a luck. So this one's not even going to be able to recover anything if we're getting into a bad spot with our health. During the fight anyways. Alright, so that's the curse ability. So we resolved that. Now that we've taken care of that, we're basically moving right in. I mean, this was all the danger phase, and now we moved into the encounter phase, and we need to see what we're going with. All right, so when we actually start, the one with the highest perception goes first. So our Bog Conjurer has a perception of 7, so that will be the one acting first. This one is, let's go look up Dimwit and Onslaught. I don't know if I've read those before. I have the sheet here somewhere. No, not there. Dimwit and Onslaught. Alright. Dimwit. On the first round after this monster enters a fight, its attack value is D6. If you are targeted by this monster, roll to determine its attack at the start of your turn and in the combat round. After the first round, the monster's attack turns to normal. Okay, so we're going to roll what its dim-witted attack is. Oh, crap. That's actually really bad. Alright, so it's going to return to normal after the first round. Next, we're dealing with Onslaught. This monster gains +1 attack while targeting an adventurer who is in the guard stance. Okay, if a number N is indicated, this monster has N. So there's no number indicated there. So it's attacking with +1. So this thing is going to hit for 7 if somebody's in the guarded stance, which is really, like, majorly crappy. Alright, so I could either go... Oh, geez, I don't know. I'm going to have to put myself in the guarded stance, or I'm just going to lose way too much life. Alright, so choosing my stance, I will go guarded. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and roll our tests here. Since I'm in the guarded stance, my power dice will be used for the shield here. Well, not the shield, but how much damage I can actually shrug off. Alright, so we did good on the agility test. So we passed that. I can block a total of 4 damage coming in. He hits for 6, so I do take 2. Alright, as far as my actual attack goes, that was successful. And we did, this is based on strength. So I did 3 damage to him. And lucky, he only has 3 life, no armor. So this one is taken out and is part of my trophies now for the end of the fight. Looking at my gain 1 luck when you pass. Oh, this isn't even a fight test. When you pass an explore test with doubles while you are on the outside. Wow. Alright. So his turn is done. So now we move into the brawler here. And we need to decide what stance we're going to put ourselves in for this fight. Alright. Looks like as far as damage done, it's 3. He has evade and pursue. These are things are like you can't run away. He's going to stay with you no matter what. So we're not really too worried about that. So he only hits for 3. I'll put myself in the assault stance for this one because I want to make sure that I do a good amount of damage. And I think that's it. So we're going to go ahead and make the strength test. And our power dice can be applied to the actual hit and not the shield. Oh, man. and my stinking strength test failed because I needed a 9 and I got an 11 on that. That's really bad. The bad thing is I think I failed the agility test because I got a 9 on that. So he's going to damage me for 3 because I wasn't able to block any of that damage. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that's kind of bad. But the good news is we have the Bog Conjurer who isn't doing anything at all because he has no enemies engaged with him anymore. So what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and make the... he's going to attempt to roll. That is unless this one... When I win a fight, I gain 1 luck for each trophy you have with XP Val 3 or more. Okay, so that's not even going to help me getting an XP Val 3 for the luck. So what I will do is I'm going to have the Bog Conjurer in the assault stance. It's only making an assault test against the thing up there. He doesn't need to roll defense because he's not being targeted. And I think he did real well. So he needed a 7 for his strength test, which he got he needed an 8 or lower for strength, but he rolled a 7. He does 4 damage, but his power die actually means he does 5, but it doesn't matter because he only needed 4 to damage that one. Alright, so now that's the end of the fight. We've taken care of everything that was on the space with us. So the one thing we do now is, since we were successful in the fight, we need to go ahead and get all of our items that belong. So this one looks like they got no gold from either of them, but got 1 XP for each. So this one's XP is going to go from 12 to 14. And he's also going to need to roll 1 die. Alright, we're looking for the dice roll to be a 2 or 1. If it is, then they get to draw a loot card for that. So let's go ahead and roll that and see what we get. Alright, rolled a 4, so we weren't successful there drawing a loot card. Alright, so we're done with these. These are going to get discarded. And then the last thing we need to do is, since we won the fight, we can actually lower the danger level of the current space we're in. So that one's going to be dropped from a 2 to a 1. So that's probably the one positive thing we can get out of that fight, since we had to take it on early. And then we'll discard this because we're all finished with it. So that brings us to our next round. So we need to figure out what we want to do, if we want to stay there and rest, or do we want to continue on. Alright, there was one thing I kind of forgot. I had kind of placed that card to the side, but I wanted to go ahead and look at that now to see if it was something that actually happened to us or not. Alright, so when we were fighting, at the end of each combat round, place a number of wounds on this card equal to the total XP value of the monsters in this space, not including monsters that are dazed or hexed. Alright, so for the first... the end of the first combat round, place a number of wounds on this card equal to the total XP value. So that would have been 1 wound that we placed on it. And then at the end of the second combat round, it would have been this one right here. We only would have had a total of 2. We would have never gotten up to the 5 that would have placed a Void Gate counter in this space. And after the fight was over, the encounter was done away with. It was discarded, and it no longer became of any... trying to think of the word. No longer became any effect to us. So we're going to go ahead and just discard that right there. But I wanted to make sure that that was fully resolved. Okay, guys. So we are back again, and we are going to continue on our travels here. I did a little thinking about it, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to continue to stay in the cautious stance and go ahead and just do a foot travel over here to Crossroads, and then I will actually wait until I get to Crossroads to do the Explorer to actually rest up and heal my guys. That way I'm not taking more turns than I need to bring out more dangers. I feel pretty safe because the fields are danger levels at 1. There is one thing I needed to correct. What I saw when I was doing some editing was when I took damage from the Bog Conjurer, I only applied 2 when it actually should have been 3 damage during the last fight. Okay, so before we get into our map action phase, we'll just note that both of our guys or our party is in the cautious stance here. So with that, with the map action phase, we're going to go ahead and just do a foot travel. So that's going to put us on from the road here to Crossroads. So we've now made it to our first clue. But we can't do anything with that until next activation. So what we're going to do now is draw our danger card and see what happens. Alright, lawlessness, banditry, and nightmarish visions plague the populace of once prosperous Pigskin Port. Alright, so Pigskin Port is going to be increasing in danger. Pigskin Port is right here where one of the clues are. Now, since this is a town level, it actually is going to lower the town level by 1. So it's going to go from a 3 to a 2. Let's see if I can find it here. Alright. So it's not a good thing because that's bringing it closer to the danger level. Alright, next thing we're going to do is look at this. So we have a 1 here. And that's unfortunate that we got a low number again because Fields is a 1 here. So if the card is equal to or less than that number, then we're going to have to draw. But there is one thing we can do, and this actually may help us in this instance. We can do what's called a stealth. Since we are in the cautious stance, the party's in the cautious stance, each adventurer in the party may attempt a perception test. If every member of the party passes, we increase the effective value of your danger card by 1. So we would make the card 2 and avoid danger. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a perception test on both of our adventurers here, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can pass. Alright. Has a perception of 6 for our Bloodsport Brawler and a perception of 7 for our Bog Conjurer. So let's go ahead and take the Bog Conjurer perception test first. So we're looking for a 7 or less. Well, we already failed there because they got a 2 on the perception test. So we know we can't get both of them to pass. So there really is no way to decrease the danger level or increase the danger level value of the card. So that does mean that we need to go ahead and pull our encounter here. So we're going to pull 1 encounter card, and then after that we're going to draw only 1 enemy. So this is actually not too bad, but let's go see what we get. We're going to draw a Lowlands encounter, and then we'll read it. Candlelight Shrine dedicated to the saints of the Holy Order. There are still offerings here left by traveling pilgrims. The party may ignore the shrine, plunder it, or pray to the saints. So we have a couple of things here, and we're going to decide which one we want to do. Alright, so our choices were to ignore, plunder, or pray to the saints. I think where we're at right now, our party is going to choose to ignore it. If that is the case, then it says bad luck to disturb offerings left for the spirits of the dead. Alright, so we're just going to basically discard this encounter card and then go ahead to the enemy step where we draw only 1 enemy for our 2 adventurers here. So we take from the Lowlands monster and we get a Corpse Feeder, Filth Vermin. This does have ambush, and this one wants to go to the one with the most damage, I believe. Let me check that real quick. Yes, so this one is going to want to go to the adventurer with the highest damage. That's actually a good thing right now because our Bog Conjurer has 3 health or 3 damage. Actually, they might both have that. Looks like they both have that. So our Bloodsport Brawler has 3 and our Bog Conjurer has 3. So in that case, it's pretty much a choice as to where we want it to go. Since this one has ambush, for those, I guess, in the assault stance here, let me look that up real quick. All right, so what this was, ambush with a what is that? The bold icon there next to it. Let's see if I can get this in focus here. What this means is ambush would apply to the adventurer in the bold stance. Now, since we're not in the bold stance, we're in the cautious stance, the ambush does not apply to us. Even so, the ambush would not apply because to this one because of the my sixth sense ability, which is for the Bog Conjurer, which is we are immune to the ambush, or immune to ambush. So either way, this one would not have taken the damage on that one. So what we are going to do is, since we have a choice of where to put it, because both of them have equal amounts of damage, I'd like to say that we should put it with the one who, let's put it with the one that has at least a little more survivability than the other one. So we're going to go ahead and give the Corpse Feeder to the Bloodsport Brawler here. All right, so we would have taken care of the arrival effect, which was ambush, but we don't have to since they're both in the cautious stance. So we don't do anything with that. So now all we do is we actually move into the fight here. We will put ourselves into the assault stance. Since we really only have, actually no. I'm going to put myself in the guarded stance for this fight. This one hits for 4 and unfortunately has 6 health and 2 armor. So he is going to be tough to get through. So I need to actually try to last as long as I can with this one. Alright, since we're in the guarded stance, my power dice is going to be applied to the agility test for shielding from the damage. So go ahead and roll our stats. Alright, agility test looks good. I rolled a 5 on my highest die, so the power die doesn't really play an effect. For my strength here, which was 9, I rolled a 7. So let's do the damage first. I blocked 5 damage. He only attacks for 4, so nothing got in, so the slime effect doesn't have any effect on me. My highest die on the attack was 4, so I damage. He has 2 armor, so 2 damage come into him. Alright, and that's the end of the Bloodsport Brawler's action. Next we go to the Bog Conjurer. Actually, since they go in perception order, the Bog Conjurer should have gone first. Okay, so we're going to kind of roll that back a little bit, pretending that the Bog Conjurer went first. Bog Conjurer is going to be in the assault stance. It's only rolling for the assault and the no defense because he's not being targeted by the Corpse Feeder here. So we're just rolling for, this is a strength test, and we need an 8 or lower. Alright, we did good on the strength test. We passed with a 6. The power die was a 5, so 5 damage came in from the Bog Conjurer. Armor of 2, so only 3 damage came in. Alright, that would have been, the Bog Conjurer would have been the first to act to do the 3 damage, then the Bloodsport Brawler would have been the second to act, giving it the 2 damage that we already rolled. So we are at 5. He only needs to be damaged 1 more time. We're at a new round of combat, so the first one to act would be our Bog Conjurer because of the higher perception. So she's just going to roll, he is going to roll his attack. Okay, and we're real good because he passed on the test. Power die was a 6, so that's we apply that amount to the damage done. And we have killed the Corpse Feeder, and unfortunately for this one, he doesn't get any luck because he only does that on explore tests. Alright, so now at the end of the fight here, we get our gold and our XP values. So this is going to be 2 XP that the Bog Conjurer is going to get. So we're going to go from 14 to 16 and 0 gold there, so he's not getting anything for that. Then we roll for the amount, see if we can draw a loot card. So the XP value that we got was 2, so for the dice roll it's going to have to be a 2 or less. Okay, we get a 3, so no loot card. And then the final thing we do is we lower the danger level in our current space down 1. Alright, so Fields has gone down from a 1. It can't go any lower than that, so we're actually bringing it into a town level of 1. So really, really good situation to be in with having the fields. That's basically there's no danger level right now. All right, so this card is done and resolved, which means that whole, I guess, turn and event is all taken care of. So what we'll do now is we'll move into our next map action phase. So for this map action phase, in order for us to do our exploring, we have to be in the bold stance. So we're going to have to take ourselves from the cautious stance here to the bold in order to do what we need to do. All right, so for this action, the first thing we do is we do a recover action on both of our guys. Now in order to do the recover, we're going to need to roll a morale test on both of them. So we'll show that here. We do this in morale order. So highest morale goes first. This would be our Bloodsport Brawler. We're going to make a morale test. So we're going to use our 8, which is actually a 7 because we're demoralized, but it's still higher than the Bog Conjurer's morale of 6, which is fine. So this one's going to be the first to go. We have to make pass on a 7 or less for our morale test. Okay, we passed with a 4. So what that means, automatically it means that all the status conditions are taken off of our hero, I guess you want to call it. And then we can heal up to our maximum MRL value. So I only have that, which would have been an 8, but I only have 3 damage, so that is going to go all the way up to 0 or down to 0, however you want to look at that. Next, we'll make the morale test for our Bog Conjurer. We need to do this differently because I can't roll for both of them. So I need to decide if the Bloodsport Brawler was going to be the one to do the Explore test, or if I want the Bog Conjurer to do it. Now, I might want the Bog Conjurer to do it because this one gains 1 luck when we pass an Explore test with doubles while you are outside. So we'll say that the Bloodsport Brawler did its rest actions to recover. We can do Improve, which is spend XP to learn a skill or mastery. So we don't have enough. We only have 6 XP. So not enough to do any kind of improvements or anything. So at this point, the Bloodsport Brawler is completely done with his turn. And then we're going to move on to the Bog Conjurer. So the Bog Conjurer is going to do a recovery test. So it's going to test on the morale. We need a 6 or less. All right, we failed on that. Doesn't matter because our status conditions would still be removed. And instead of healing up our maximum MRL, we can only heal up half of our MRL. But that's still more than we needed because that's going to put us back at 0. All right, with that, the Bog Conjurer did recover, and we still have some more options to us. We can choose any more of the rest actions. We can actually even choose to improve. So improve would be buying a skill or improving one that we already have. I like Sixth Sense a lot. Let's look at the other side of the mastery. This one's going to be all the way immune to ambush. Oop. And we won't have the negative effect of... I guess that doesn't mean there is any negative effect to it. All right, it just means that we're all going to be immune from ambush. So that is huge. So let's take this time to do a recovery. It's going to be 8 XP to bring that up. So 16, this is going to bring us back down to 8. So we have done recovery. Now all of our party is immune to ambush. That's so huge, man. Okay, so we took care of that. The only thing left to do is we're going to do an explore action. So hopefully we can roll some doubles here and do something really nice. So we're going to take the explore action, pass a perception test, and then we can place an explored counter in our space. And when we do, we'll get to pick up that clue number 6. Our perception is 7, so we need to roll a 7 or less for this one. Oh my god, that is so freaking awesome. We passed and we rolled doubles. Yes! Which means that we get to gain 1 luck when we passed with an explore test with doubles while we were outside. All of those applied. So our luck goes from 4 to 5. I haven't had to use any luck, but that will come in handy much later on. Alright, so now that we've passed on that explore, I need to add a token to that space. Alright, so we have explored here. And now that that means we can pick up clue number 6. All right, clue number 6. Crossroads, where the jailer buried the soothsayer's head to hide it from the smellers of the Inquisition. When you successfully explore clue number 6, remove clue number 6. That's what we're doing. And draw, oh no, we have to draw a random card from the mission deck. Oh, okay. So the mission deck that we set up at the beginning of the game was the 2 cards, the Soothsayer's Head and the Fungal Parasite. Now, just in case y'all think I've already stacked the deck, I'm just going to keep doing this and that and this, and I don't even know which way, whatever, which one. All right, I'm going to draw the top one and see what we get. Dang it! This happened last time. All right. The Fungal Parasite, unfortunately, since our Bog Conjurer was doing the searching, is going to go to him. What this is going to do is take our Constitution down by 1, but it is going to up our magic level by 1. I had a counter on that last time to remind me that that had happened. So all right, so we have -1 Constitution. I'm going to put that right up here to remember it. When my Constitution is -1, that means our health is going to go down by 2. So we're at a 14. My magic is +1. All right, that's pretty good because our magic is basically, we can't fail. No, we can fail, sorry. That's high for our magic. Now, so this is going to stay with us unless we can get it removed at like the church or something like that in order to that. But it stays with us. So we'll always have to put it there, or I'll put it beside there. Now, the next thing is after we've drawn that one, we automatically get the Soothsayer's Head. So we now have the Soothsayer's Head. And let's see what else we need to do. If we draw the Fungal Parasite, you must take that card. We did that. When you dig up the Soothsayer's Head, its haunting, raspy voice whispers to you in an ancient tongue. If any adventurer in the party meets the requirements of the Soothsayer's Head, Magic 7 or Puritan, they can make a sense of his desperate pleas to return to his home at Stone Circle. All right, well, we definitely meet the Magic +7. I don't think anybody meets the Puritan stats, but we do meet the Magic +7. So we do hear the cries of the head that wants to be returned to the Stone Circle, which, if you know from my past video, was an unsuccessful attempt to get there. So this is kind of let's see, I'm trying to, like a vindication run for me. Trying to succeed where I failed in the past. All right. So we've done all of those items. We've explored. We've ended the exploration phase, or the map action, or the map action phase. So now we enter the danger phase. Okay. So here's what we got. we have half vile human things worship and give sacrifice below to the ancient twisted branches of the black tree. All right, so I got the black tree last time too. So the black tree is going to go from a 5 to a 6, which I don't like at all because that means it's really hard to get through that space without getting alerted. All right, now we consult the bottom numbers here. If we're in a space that has the trees, like a forest area, our numbers are going to be 3 that we'll consult. If we're outside, it's going to be a 4. Just looking here real quick. We don't have those, but at the same time, we know that the numbers, either the 4 or the 3 we're consulting, is not equal to or less than our number here. This is just way too low to have to worry about it. So for that, we're not drawing an encounter card or enemies. So we're going to discard and then move on to our next phase here. Now, just like I did last time, since we are here, we can just regularly move on, starting our next map action phase. I think I want to put the guys into cautious stance. I did force march through here last time, but it did cause me to be exhausted. So I will not do that this time. I'm going to put myself in the cautious stance, which means I can only foot travel for this map action phase, which means that my next one, as I'm going to be here, making my way, just so you know what I'm doing is I'm making my way to the East Bridge, and I'm going to travel down the river here to this place, Dusk Falls, and then try to make my way to the tree and then over to clue number 3, which is the stone circle. So I'm taking a familiar path that we did last time. All right, so we moved over here in the cautious stance, and that's where we'll be. And then we'll draw our next danger phase because that map action phase is over with. All right, next we have obscene mockeries of nature and reality gather within the horrific skull edifice called the Temple of Madness. All right, Temple of Madness is yellow. It looks to be right here. So that's going to go from a 5 to a 6. That's the only bad thing about taking it slow is you give more chance for things to actually increase in danger level. All right, so we're still consulting the fields because that's where we are. We haven't made it to the East Bridge yet. So either of those numbers, whether we're in a metaphysical space or not, the numbers are just too high for it to affect us. So we ignore any of the encounters and enemy draws. All right, next we are going to continue on this map action phase, staying in the cautious stance, making a foot travel to the East Bridge. Now that we're in the East Bridge, we're within the Witchwood territory. And the Witchwood territory up here is at a 4, so we have to be a little bit more careful. All right, so we made our foot travel. There's nothing else that we can do. So we consult our next danger card. All right, we have fiends crawl forth from the unknown depths of the vast hellish chasm, spanned only by the ghoulish Skull Bridge. All right, Skull Bridge is up here. Skull Bridge is a 4, so that's going to go to 5. And hopefully we can avoid an encounter, but we'll see. All right, so we have a number of 4. Witchwood is at 4. So the only way we can avoid this is if we use our stealth to increase the number on this card to 5. So that means we're both going to have to make a perception test. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can pass this time. All right, first one that's going to make a perception test is going to be our Bog Conjurer. So we need a 7 or less. All right, we're successful on the Bog Conjurer. Now we only need the perception of our Bloodsport Brawler, which is a 6 for perception to pass. So 6 or less, not even close. All right, 10. So we did not pass, which means we did not increase the card value by 1. So that means that we need to go ahead and draw our encounter card and then draw 3 enemies. I may want to, seeing this as that's 3 enemies, I'm going to try to escape this fight as fast as I can. I've had problems when it's more than 2 enemies. Let's take on the encounter first and see what happens.
All right, prevailing gloom. Resolve immediately. Oh, okay, we need to look at this first. Are we in a space outside in the forest or not? So we need to look at our East Bridge here. It looks like we do have that tree symbol. So we're going to be resolving the top part and ignoring this bottom part. Canopy of lichen coated tree limbs blocks most of the light to this area, while low fog clings to the ground, further obscuring your vision. If the party is in bold stance, monsters in this space have ambush. We're not. We're actually in the cautious stance. If the party is in cautious stance, one adventurer must make a perception test. If you fail, each adventurer in the space becomes detained. Okay, we'll go look that up, but the one I'm going to choose for the perception test is going to be our Bog Conjurer because they have a perception of 7. So let's go ahead and make that test real quick. And failed. Okay, so if we fail, each adventurer becomes detained. Okay, and I believe I have a marker for that. Okay, that is not good. So detained, we cannot move. All right, so we're going to have to rest through our next action because this is until we become recovered. That sucks. And judging by this fight, since we can't move, I think we're going to have to stay and fight. We won't be able to do that, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to go do a little reading here. So as far as what I could find regarding detained, it really references like your movement, like if you're going to be moving from one area to the next, so forth. I read through all the rules looking for any detained references that had to do with actually escaping, and I couldn't find any. So we'll just have to say I'll interpret it as the detained doesn't have any bearing on actually escaping a fight or not. So we're going to see what's going to happen here, and then we'll kind of make our decisions from there. So we did go ahead and do the resolve of the encounter card, so now we just need to draw our monsters for this. Now, since we have 2 heroes or adventurers, and we're going to be drawing 3 enemies, and we're still in the lowlands territory, so there's all going to be lowlands monsters. So go ahead and draw 3, and depending on how these get set up and the health they have and everything is going to depend on if I'm going to be trying to escape these fights or not. So let's see what we got here. Alright, the 3 monsters that we drew were Mega Rat, Vampire Duchess, and Goat Brute. Alright, so we'll start with the Mega Rat here. It doesn't have any arrival abilities, but it wants to go to the one with the highest agility. It looks like that's going to be our Bloodsport Brawler with 8, so we'll go ahead and put the rat there. Has 5 health and hits for 5, no armor. Next we have the Vampire Duchess. This one's going to go to the highest Constitution, and this does come with Curse. So our Constitution here is going to be a 7 because of the fungal brings that down. Constitution on the Bloodsport Brawler is a 9, so that means it's going to go to the Bloodsport Brawler. This one hits for 4 and has a health of 8. That's pretty high. And this one comes with Curse, and we'll have to look that up here in just a second. And then we have our last one here is going to want to go to, the Goat Brute's going to go to the highest MRL. That's going to be our Bloodsport Brawler. I mean, this is just terrible for him to have this many on him. So we're definitely going to try to escape because I don't think I could last out that many turns or be that lucky with trying to get through the fights here. So, yeesh. Let's go ahead and resolve our arrival abilities. The only one that we have is Curse, so we're going to go look at that one real quick. Our Curse arrival ability is the monster's target must make a magic test. If we fail, we lose a luck and become demoralized. Alright, well we don't have a luck to lose, so we'll probably only become demoralized. So we're going to take a magic test. Our magic is 5, so we need to get a 5 or less. Okay, we got a 6, so we did fail that one, so we're now demoralized. So that is going to give us a -1 MRL. So we're going to have to remember that that is here. Now, curse does not say how long it lasts for. So that means it's going to be a stay with us until our next recovery test. All right, no other ones have any arrival abilities. This one has infect, which means if he gets any damage through, then I'm going to become infected. Drain 2, we're going to look at Drain here. Drain is at the end of each combat round, this monster recovers 1 wound if it inflicted at least 1 wound on its target during that round. If a number is indicated, the monster recovers that many wounds instead. So that sucks. That one's going to recover 2 wounds because it's a Drain 2 if it inflicts any damage to me, if it has any damage on her. Then we have Berserk. Berserk is monster gains +2 attack on its first round of a fight unless it is dazed. The attack returns to normal after the first round. So instead of the 4 that it's hitting with, it's going to hit us with 6. Absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible stuff to be in. So yes, the first thing we're going to do is try to escape. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. And we're probably going to end up taking some wounds for it because they will get a chance to attack through the escape. I'm just hoping that I'll be able to make it through. So for our escape test, and one thing, if we don't have any monsters targeting us, we can basically make an escape for free without making the test. So the Bog Conjurer, since none of them are targeting him, he is good to go. He can escape at any point. However, the Bloodsport Brawler is locked in. In order for him to escape what's coming in, he has got to make an agility test, or not an agility test. He's got to make an agility test first to see if he's successful in the escape. His acting would actually be last, so the Bog Conjurer would have to make a decision. Does she want to escape, or does he want to escape the fight? I'm going to say yes, I want to escape the fight because I don't want them to try to target me. When the Bloodsport Brawler is successful, they won't have anybody to go to if he is out of the fight. So he is going to go ahead and use his turn to make an escape. It's a free test, so we're just going to not worry about him. We're going to move to the Bloodsport Brawler. The first thing we're going to have to do is make an agility test to see if we're successful in the escape. All right, that is pretty good, seeing as how we have an 8 on that. There's nothing else that is preventing me from doing that. Now, before we do anything, I want to make sure that I'm in the guarded stance. So if I have to make an agility test, if I fail, then I'll be able to use the power die for my defense. Okay, so let's first make the agility test to see if I escape. Okay, thank God. I made a successful agility test. All right, so I have successfully escaped. However, they are still going to get a chance to attack me. So I have to make yet another agility test, and this is for my defense. All right, I'm going to roll the regular green die. I think I can still use my power die because I'm in the guarded stance. If that's wrong, let me know, but I don't see any clarifications on that in the rules. But if I'm successful in this escape, or I've already successfully escaped, they're just going to get a chance to hit me on the escape. So let's go ahead and roll another agility test. All right, we are very lucky here. All right, so we rolled a 7 on the agility. So we were successful in blocking the damage. Now our power die was 6 and our highest die was 6. So that means we were able to block 6 damage from each creature. This one does 5, so we're good. This one does 4, so we're good. And this one did 6 total. But since we rolled a 6, we were able to block all damage. We were absolutely phenomenally lucky to roll that on the test. So now that we've escaped, all of the enemies are discarded. The encounter is discarded, and we actually got really, really lucky. The only thing that we came out with was I'm demoralized because of that curse from one of those. So hopefully I handled that correctly. This is actually the first time I've actually done an escape before, or a successful escape, and lived to rejoice here. So let's go ahead and assume that we're totally done with that portion of the round, which is pretty much all done. And I think there's really nothing left besides to move on to the next map action phase. So there is one more thing before we move on. Now, in reading the ending fight, there's the party's victorious, which our party was not, or the monster was victorious, which they were not either. Um, then the final one is no victor at all. So we're going to go ahead and choose that one. In that case, it says reduce the danger level in your space. So the danger level here for East Bridge is Witchwood. So that's actually going to go from a 4 to a 3 since we're reducing it. Don't really know what I did to reduce it, but I'm going to take that win if that is correct. And then we'll just move on from there. So now we can go ahead and enter the next map action phase and get started and see if we can get rid of some of these conditions on us. So we know we can't go anywhere. We can't move because we're detained, and we need to get those conditions off us before we're actually able to. My next plan was just to move down the river here. So for this map action phase, we're going to be staying, and we're going to be taking the recover on each of our adventures, so we can. I'm trying to see if I need to recover. It doesn't matter what stance I'm in. However, I'd still like to keep myself in the cautious stance just in case. So I'm leaving both of my adventures. Well, the party itself is going to be in the cautious stance. With that, we're going to take the recover action, and we're going to go in morale order. I think our highest morale here is going to be our Bloodsport Brawler, and actually, well, still 7, still higher than the morale of 6 here. So Bloodsport Brawler is going to go first. She is going to do a morale test and see if we can shrug off those things. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can. Actually, we really don't even have to take the test because I'm already fully healed. So I know just by taking the recovery action, I can go ahead and remove these 2 conditions here without penalty. And there's nothing else that I want to do unless I want to try to. I don't have any improvements I can do. I can't do explore, invest, or trade because those have to be in a different stance. So we'll just go ahead and finish the Bloodsport Brawlers action and move on to the Bog Conjurer. Bog Conjurer, same thing, has no healing that he can do. So really all this is just going to be an automatic removal of the conditions that he had on him. And this one does have some XP. It's possible that we could get another skill to put on him. So I might want to take this opportunity to see if there's anything that I can purchase for the 8 XP, so we might do an improve on him. So looking at the suggested skills for Bog Conjurer, which is way on the other side of this card, the 2 I found were called Rebuke and Mend Wounds, and we'll look at those here. So for Rebuke, we have combat action. Choose a target or demon or undead, and with an XP val 2 or less, and make a magic or morale test. If you pass, the target becomes hexed. I actually don't have enough to buy. That one is 10 XP. I only have 8. The next one is Mend Wounds. Make a magic test. If you pass, you and each other adventurer in your party recovers 1 wound. This skill / mastery cannot be used by another member of your party this round. All right, and that one is 8 XP, and I am both Scholar. Let's see. I fulfilled a wild on this one, and I hope that I would be able to fulfill these because these were suggested skills. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick this Mend Wounds up. So we're going to take the Improve skill and add Mend Wounds to our skill set. So that's going to take my XP all the way down to 0. And that is going to finish out the Bog Conjurer's I guess, phase here. So this is going to finish out the whole group. They're both done. And then we'll move on to the danger phase. All right, so our danger card that we'll be drawing is slimy things claw their way from the black depths onto the shores of Tomb Lake. Oh, shucks. Well, Tomb Lake is a place that we're kind of headed to, so that's not great. So Tomb Lake is going to go from a 3 to a 4. That is not good because, again, I'm headed that way. All right, so Tomb Lake is what got increased the danger level. Next, we're going to look at the number here. So 5 is the number that we're going to be dealing with. And our Witchwood space, which is where we're at, is at a 3. So the card is not equal to or less than that number, so we are safe from encounters or drawing enemies. So we'll go ahead and discard that. All right, now we're coming up to a new map phase. And here's what I want to do. I want to take the Lakeport Travel. Now, in order to do this one, the Lakeport Travel here, as you can see, or the Riverport Travel, either one is taking the bold stance here. So we know we already need to put our guys into bold stance just to take this action. So we'll change from cautious over to bold, and then continue on with this travel. So in order to do this, we are going to pay, we're doing Riverport Travel. Travel from a riverport to an adjacent port downriver for 2 gold points per adventurer. All right, so 2 gold points. That's going to take both Bog Conjurer, 0 spaces filling up, and the Bloodsport Brawler, 2 gold points. They're all on 0. It's taking them 2 points to move there. And let's go ahead and move down. Now I know my Lakeport travels here. We are at Eastbridge. So we look at our locations here, and from Eastbridge I can go to Dusk Falls or Fishmonger Camp. All right. So Dusk Falls is right here, or Fishmonger Camp is here. So we're taking the river into this location right there. So we've made it on the boat for our travel. And that is where we are right there. Wish I could get a better vantage point for you guys, but that's about the best I can do. All right, so we made it to Dusk Falls, and now we're going to go ahead and pull our danger card and see what we get. Now, we want to remember that since we're in Dusk Falls, it uses Tomb Lake, which is now a 4. And we're in the bold stance, so in order for us to lessen the danger level of the card, we'll have to try something else. All right, danger level, or danger time. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. All right, the people of the swamp live in fear of the fishoid freaks who make their lair in the sunken village. All right, sunken village, where are you? Looks like sunken village is 4, so that one is going to go up to a 5. Just increasing them all over the place. That's kind of how this game goes. All right, now our card number is 3 down here, so that number is less than Tomb Lake. So even if we try to increase the number of this card by doing a test, there is a specific wording I want to use. I don't want to say the wrong thing. And that's called a hunt instead of stealth, since we're in the... these are the 2 tests that you can do to try to increase the danger level numbers here. Stealth if you're in cautious stance, or hunt if you're in the bold stance, which we are. That is, each adventurer in the party may attempt a perception test. And if they succeed, we can... let's see here. Let me read this real quick. Each adventurer in the party may attempt a perception test. Each adventurer in the party must declare whether they will attempt this test before anyone rolls. If more adventurers pass than fail, you may reduce the effective value of your danger card by 1. It doesn't matter, because even if we were able to reduce this by 1, that would reduce, hold on, this is reduce the effective value of your danger card by 1. So that would bring it to a 2. I'm not really getting that one, because you'd want to increase the value of the card, not decrease it, because decreasing it would be making you fight. Okay, we're not going to do a hunt. That would be if like you were really wanting to go out for something instead of trying to stay away from it. So kind of disregards of what stuff I was saying. 3, we're going to have to go ahead and draw an encounter card for that. All right, so now we are in a new territory. We're in the, what is this? This is the wetlands. So we're going to be drawing a wetlands encounter. All right, and here we go. An odd, hunched old wizard with a vacant stare clutches an elaborate pipe in his teeth and mumbles a greeting as he exhales a swirling cloud of pungent smoke. The party may approach, fight, or ignore him. All right, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the approach. We seem pretty comfortable with this guy. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to roll a d6 and then consult the chart here. All right, so let's see what we get. All right, we get a 2. I don't know if you guys can see that roll. Yep, right there. All right, 1 to 2. The hours slip away as you listen intently to his endless rambling stories. You are not sure if any of it's true, but you transfixed regardless. Each adventurer in the party becomes detained and gains 1 XP. Oh, crap. We've already detained. All right. I guess we're all detained again. So we're going to spend some more time here, even after we fight, because we're going to be drawing some more monsters here. All right. So detained, and each person gains 1 XP. Let's see, go from 6 to 7. All right. So now that encounter card is done, we're going to discard it. And then we're going to draw, what is it? Looks like we're drawing 3 enemies. Good Lord. This is just getting worse and worse. All right, 3 wetlands monsters. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll see what we got. Then we'll make a determination if I'm going to try to do another escape or not. All right, first, well, let's see what we got. We got a skull spider, swamp troll, bog scrag. Luckily us, we don't have any arrival abilities. They don't have any armor, but good God, this one has 1. And that one's got 12 life. Let's just see how they stack up. All right, this one's going to go to the highest wounds. That's our choice since they both are equally healed. This one goes to the highest strength. That's probably going to be our Bloodsport Brawler with a 9. All right, and this one is going to go to the lowest agility. It's actually the Bog Conjurer here. And where do I want that guy to go? Let's kind of I'm going to think about this for a minute, and then we'll see how I want to distribute that. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give the Bog Scrag over to my Bloodsport Brawler, kind of let her take... I don't know, is her, him? Looks kind of like a her. We'll go with her. I'm going to let her take the majority of damage, if possible, because this one has a little less health, or can take a little less damage, so we'll do that. One thing I need to note, and it's something I may have already put correction text up on the screen, but I just thought about it. When I'm in the guarded stance with the Bloodsport Brawler, I have to use agility to use my attack. When I'm in the assault stance, then I can use the strength thing. So with that, I'm going to put her in the guarded stance. So I need to remember agility is going to be the when I'm rolling on 8 instead of the 9 to do any hits. The first one to act in the fight is the Bog Conjurer because it has a higher perception. So we'll go ahead and roll our tests here. Now I need to determine, do I put him in the assault stance or do I leave him in the guarded stance? Because the wounds can really get to us pretty fast. Yeah. Let's start off with the assault stance and see if we can try to work this one down. Hopefully we can get some good rolls on our defense here. All right, this may be a mistake, but we're going to try it. We're going to go for this skull spider here, and we are in the assault stance. All right, so for my strength test, I was successful because I got a 7. With my agility test, it looks like I failed the agility test, which is unfortunate because that means I'm going to take 5 damage. I could use a luck here and re-roll that to see if I could get something a little better. Let's use 1 luck. See if I can roll something a little less. I can roll something higher. Okay. I'm going to take 5 damage from that. And then I'm going to be slimed and venom. So let's go see those real quick. Slime is one of those. If I get hit, then I become slimed until the end of the fight. Okay, so slimed until the end of the fight is -1 agility. So she's going to have that, or he's going to have that the rest of this. All right, venom. Let's look at that one. When you receive 1 or more wounds from this monster, I'm poisoned. What? All right, so poisoned now, and this is going to be until the end of the recovery. -1 Constitution, so now my health has gone down another 2. This may be where like I lose the stinking game again. Every time I get to the wetlands, I lose it. I was successful on the attack. Since I'm in the assault stance, power die doesn't really help me. I did 4 wounds, blocks 1, so I did 3 damage to it. So now it's the end of the Bog Conjurer's turn, and we'll move on to the Bloodsport Brawler. Bloodsport Brawler is going to stay in the guarded stance, so the power die will be applied to that. So we'll go ahead and roll. Jeez. All right. Well, this is agility. Our agility for the attack was successful. Our agility for the defense was not successful, and I can't re-roll that because I don't have anything left, no luck to do that with. But the power die, since I'm in the guarded stance, I can block 3 from 1 damage, 3 from 1 person here. I'll take it just off of this. Let's see, this one has regenerate. I'm pretty sure it's just going to gain life back at the end of the turn. I'll look it up. I'll just take 5 damage here from that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. I need to start making a decision now if I need to try to escape this fight because it's not looking good at all. Okay. If I can escape, then he is not going to target the Bloodsport Brawler until the next combat round. So let's try to see if we can escape this fight. It's not looking too good for me right now. So next round, let's have the Bog Conjurer make the first agility test to see if we can escape. Now, since I'm slimed, my agility test is going to be a 6 or less. Oh, thank God. Okay, so I was successful in the escape. Now I also need to roll again to see, if they're going to hit me on the way out. And it looks like that is the case. So this one is going to hit for, since I failed, I got hit for 5. Slimed and venom, which I'm still the same, slimed and poison. So this one hits for 5. Did I take that one off last time it hit me? I can't remember how much damage I took off of that. I'm going to have to go back and watch the video to see how much damage I took off of. So this hit was 5, and then I need to go see how much he hit me for last time. So 5 damage was what I took last time as well. So this one is actually doing very bad. sitting at 10 damage here. We were successful in the escape, so we can leave like after this. Hopefully I can get the Bloodsport Brawler out of the combat. We'll just have to see. All right, so for the Bloodsport Brawler, we will attempt an escape test. So I will roll my 2 purple dice here for our agility test for the escape. Now, our agility here is 8, so we might be okay, but we'll see. Okay, the escape was successful. Last time on, I did not choose a stance when I did my guard here. Since I never changed it back from the assault, that's why I took the full damage. However, I'm in the guarded stance here, so I'm going to take my agility test for the defense, and I'm going to hopefully be able to use the power die if something goes amiss. So this is my agility test for them attacking me on the way out. All right, so we rolled a 7, which was good because we passed, and I'm going to believe I can use my power die for this one. So we can block 5 damage coming in from each of those. So this one does 5 and this one does 3. So Bloodsport Brawler does not take any damage. We've both escaped the fight, and so these monsters are going to go away. We're doing an awful lot of running, and we're not doing anything to gain any experiences or gold or anything for what's going on. All right, so same as last time. Since we had the escape, it said since nothing was victorious, we're still going to lower the danger level in our area. So it looks like this one's going to go from a 4 to a 3 there. And then we move on to the next turn, and hopefully we can get ourselves out of the situation that we're in with needing to get those healed up. So when we come back, we're going to get those guys healed, hopefully do some resting, and then get moving on here. All right, so we need to rest. That is going to be our next major action that we take because we have a lot of stuff on our guys that needs to be resolved. We have slimed, detained, poisoned on our Bog Conjurer, and we also have detained on our Bloodsport Brawler. I mean, so both of those are detained, so they can't do anything anyway besides the rest action to get those things off. So let's go ahead and take our first map action. I need to note we're going to be putting both of these guys in the cautious stance instead of the bold stance. And pretty much from this point on where we're at, we're probably going to stay in the cautious stance. I won't move out of that. And the reason for that is because in moving, we can't do a force march to here because these were now in unexplored. These are not explored paths. They're not roads. They're paths, and they're basically considered unexplored until you actually do the explore action on them. So we can't do a single move through here with a force march. So we're always having to do foot travel. So we're always just pretty much going to stay in the cautious stance. It's just better for us anyway to try to keep the danger level down or the encounters down. All right, so we have put ourselves in the cautious stance. So now what we're going to do is take our actions from there. The first one that's going to go is the Bog Conjurer, and Bog Conjurer has the higher perception, so Bog Conjurer is going to take his rest action, and we're going to roll on a morale test, see if we can get, let's see if any of these lower, nothing lowers our morale, so we're looking for a 6 or less for this test roll. Okay, looks like we got a 2 and a 2. So we did pass. So we are able to heal ourselves up to our maximum MRL level, which will be 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 here. So even though we were able to heal up fully, we could not heal all the way up because we just have a pretty low MRL. All right, we also get to remove all of the conditions on us. Slimed, that would have been at the end of the fight anyway. That would have been taken off. But detained and poison come off. Since we took poison off, my health can actually be taken up to 1, 2. not sure what the other one was causing it to go down. So, oh, the fungus is causing it to go down. Okay, so we can only bring it to the 14. The other actions that we can take with the Bog Conjurer after the recover is just to improve, and we can't do anything with improve because we don't have enough XP to do anything. So we're going to consider the Bog Conjurer's turn done. We can't. I guess we could also try to explore the area that we're in, but I really don't see much of a point to do that. So what I'm going to do is, let me check that real quick, because there may be an advantage to do that. So you may explore in any map stance on the outdoors. You may use magic in place of perception when you do. But if you roll a 12, discard this card. That may be the only reason why I wouldn't want to. But if I do, I gain a luck if I explore with doubles. I don't know if I'll be that lucky again, but since I can explore in any map stance, I will go ahead and try to explore the space we're in. With the Explorer, it is a, you can use magic instead of perception, and my magic level is an 8. No, my magic level is a 10, so it's much better than perception. So let's go ahead and make a perception test here. We need a 10 or less. Okay, we got a 5. No doubles were rolled, so we didn't get any luck on that one, but we do get to add an explored marker to this space that we're on. And from that, we're going to go ahead and call this one done for the Bog Conjurer. There's nothing else he can do. So we'll move on to the test for our Bloodsport Brawler. For his morale, it's an 8, so we're looking at an 8 or less. Okay, we got just enough doubles on the 8, so we can heal ourselves up to 8. So this is going to be able to heal all the way. And we have 7 XP, not enough for improve, so we're not going to be doing any improve there. And there's no other actions that he can take for the resting. With that, he can remove the detained. So we are now fully rested and ready to move on to our danger phase. All right, with the danger card we're drawing is the air feels thick and your hair stands on end. Some devilry is afoot. So this looks like this is going to be raising the danger level of our current space. That's what... Let me go look at this. I think this is a different one because this says reshuffle the danger deck. So I think there's a special rule that I need to follow. Okay, so here's what I found out. When we see the reshuffle danger deck here, these are actually special cards that do not increase the danger level. After we resolve the card, which will be, we're going to look at this number here in just a second, and any encounters, what we're going to do with this card is we're going to discard it into the danger discard pile, and then we're going to reshuffle the danger deck completely. So it's actually going to cause things to come up, again, for danger level increases that we've already got in this game. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is look at the number here, 5. Our current danger level for the space we're in is Tomb Lake. Tomb Lake is at a 3, so this card is not equal to or less than the current danger level of 3. So we do not draw any encounters nor enemies, so we're actually really good. But now we're going to go ahead and do what it says. We're going to reshuffle the danger deck here at the bottom. So we're going to take what we have over here for my little danger cards, or my danger discards, and we're going to shuffle those back into the danger deck here for future draws. Okay, oops. So we'll shuffle, and then I like to cut just after we're done, right in the middle. And that'll be our new danger pile, or danger deck. Okay, so now we don't have any encounters that we're going to need to take care of, and we've reshuffled the danger deck, so we move on to the next map action phase. All right, staying in the cautious stance, we're going to go ahead and move our guys. We're going to foot travel right there, right at the black tree, and that's pretty much it. Nothing else to do, so we're going to draw our next danger card and see what we get. All right, we get Carrion feeding vermin and depraved lunatic cults infest the graveyard. All right, so let's go find the graveyard. This is going to be in the lowlands territory here. The graveyard is here. The graveyard is a 4, so that means that it's going to go to a 5. Next, we have a law symbol. So what we're going to do is we consult the first thing we need to check is, are we in a law space? We are not in a law space. There's no law tokens like they are up here, nor if we were in a settlement like this, we would have to see the law icon to actually reference the bounty level, is what it's called. Since we're not in a law space, we're going to treat this number just like it normally is, like a normal danger number. And knowing that Tomb Lake is at a 3, which is pretty low, the danger card is not going to be bringing anything out since it's pretty high. So we pretty much skip that encounter altogether, and we move on to the next danger phase. All right, now that we're going to be doing the next map phase, we're going to be moving in here, and I already know that without a 6, we're pretty much guaranteed to draw something now. So that was just a normal foot travel. So that's going to complete the phase, and so we draw our next danger card. Our next danger card is: the people of the swamp live in fear of the fishoid freaks who make their lair in the sunken village. Now I know we've already drawn this one before, so that stinks because this one's going to go from a 5 to a 6. This is what reshuffling the deck does here. Alright, so now we consult our space, but it really doesn't matter because that is equal to or definitely less than, and I can't even do anything, even a stealth test to bring this up to a 4 if I was successful wouldn't do anything for me. So we will be drawing one encounter card for the wastelands, and not the wastelands, the rotting swamp or wetlands, water, and then we're going to be drawing 3 enemies. So we're eventually going to have to fight, and so we're going to go ahead and draw those. We're going to draw the encounter card first, and then we'll work on the enemies. All right, so we go to Wetlands Encounter and see what we got. Ooh, we have a lucky find. You trip on an old wooden chest, half submerged in the mud. Inspecting it, you find a sigil carved into the chest's lid, a symbol from the language of the bog people meaning forbidden. In luck order, highest to lowest, each member of the party may choose to search the chest or ignore it until an adventurer has searched or every adventurer has chosen to ignore it. If we search it, then take an epic loot card, and then if you have 0 luck, take a curse from the weakness deck. Do not gain bonus XP. If you have at least 1 luck, lose D6 luck. Well, our Bog Conjurer could definitely do it. He's got a lot of luck. He would probably end up losing a lot. We don't have any luck on our Bloodsport Brawler. So the only thing he could really do is choose to ignore it. But if we search, we could have a possibility for an epic loot card. So that's what we're going to do. Bloodsport, well, let's see. Bloodsport Brawler is going to choose to ignore, but the Bog Conjurer is going to take an epic loot card. So let's go ahead and pull those here real quick. All right, I have epic loots somewhere here. Where is epic? There it is. I have those in a pile over here. I'm going to shuffle these real quick, just in case I hadn't done it already. Okay, do a cut, and then we'll draw, see what we get. A puzzle prison. This is a combat action. This action may be only used once per fight. Place target monster or epic monster with XP value equal to or less than the magic test. Under this card, that monster is removed from the fight without reward. If you fail, a random encounter or epic monster from under this card joins the fight at the start of the following round. Eee. All right, so we have a relic. The relic is going to go to the Bog Conjurer. And the Bog Conjurer needs to do something else. Now that we've drawn our epic loot, we need to resolve the rest of this card. The rest of this card is if you have, what is it? In luck order, highest lowest, each member of the party search. Okay, so now if we have at least 1 luck, lose D6 luck. All right, so we're going to just lose this much luck for taking that card there. Please be low. Dang it. All right, 3, I'll take that, it's mid-range. All right, so we're at a 4, so that means I have one luck. So now I'm not too well set up for the next fight here. All right, so now that we've taken care of that encounter, we're going to go ahead and discard this wetlands card, and then we'll go ahead and finish out our danger card here. We are drawing 3 enemies. Wetlands monsters. I'm going to shuffle those up there real quick. Cut, and we're drawing 3. 1, 2, 3. And we'll see where they're going to go. All right, we have a mold mummy, which comes with a curse. Highest MRL. Highest MRL is going to be the Bloodsport Brawler. Curse means we're going to need to take a test real quick, so let's go look that. Curse is... Monster target must make a magic test. If we fail this test, we lose a luck and become demoralized. All right, so magic test. We have a magic of 5. Pretty sure I'm going to fail. I failed horribly. All right, so we're demoralized. So I believe that's going to be a -1 MRL. Yes. All right, so this is going to be demoralized until the end or till we recover next time. So we need to remember if we're using anything with MRL, it's going to be a -1. All right, that was the Mold Mummy. Next one we have is Bog Shadow, goes to the highest agility. Highest agility looks like it's going to be our Bloodsport Brawler. This comes with ambush if we're in a fungus space. We are not in a fungus space. However, even if it was just a regular ambush, we would be immune because we have upgraded the 6th Sense. You and your party are immune to ambush, so we're not worried about that. So he goes to the Bloodsport. Next we have Scroglin Hunter. This is highest agility. So, man, everything is going to our Bloodsport Brawler. That does leave our Bog Conjurer open to helping with the fights. So we'll see what happens there. This one has Pursue and Slime. So we can't run away from this one for Pursue. Slime is if we get... This Pursue on the outdoors, yeah. Slime is if we get hit, we'll be slimed. This has Explode and Venom, meaning Explode means when we kill it, it's going to cause a damage to everyone in the party, and I think even other monsters too. I'll look that up. Venom means you become poisoned, or yeah, you become poisoned if you get hit. This one is Infect. You become infected if you're in a fungus space because there's a little fungus next to it. And Necro. You look up Necro. Haven't come across that one before. Necro is each time you receive 1 or more wounds from this monster, you lose an XP. Wow. Okay. There's no number indicated next to the Necro, so that means that it's just going to be taking 1 XP. Let me look at Explode real quick. I want to make sure I remember that correctly. When the monster is destroyed, it inflicts 1 piercing damage, which means it ignores armor, on each adventurer and each monster in its space. So if we kill this one, we'll do a damage automatically to those 2. There's really nothing we can do to avoid that damage. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start the fight. I'm leaving the Bog Conjurer in the guarded stance. That way all of her power dice can be used towards the defense. The Bog Conjurer gets to go first because of his higher perception. And he's going to be in the assault stance, so his power die will be used for the attack. Now it's a question of who do we want to go for. None of them have armor. This one does have 6 life. If we kill it, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do on this turn, but if we kill it, we'll be able to do a damage, but everybody will take a damage for it. So we'll just have to kind of go with it. I will go ahead and use this one as my target. So we'll roll the attack. We're rolling for strength, which is an 8. Okay, we get doubles. So we passed on the strength test. So we can do 4 damage to this one. I don't think there's anything else this one can use. So we're going to call the Bog Conjurer's turn done. So now we go to the Bloodsport Brawler. Bloodsport Brawler is going to do the same thing. It's going to target this one. And we're going to stay in the guarded stance. And hopefully we can get enough damage on this one to start inflicting damage on everybody. Power die will be used for the defense on the agility test. Since I am in the guarded stance, I need to, now that we finally have it come up, my attack will be using agility. So my defense will be using the agility, my attack will be using the agility, but my power die will go to the defense. So we need 8s or less on each test. All right, we failed the attack, so nothing got through. We passed on the agility test, and we passed with really well because it did 4. This one does 4, this one does 4, and this one does 4. So we're able to block all damage. So that's actually the scenario that I wanted the most. Kind of let him tank it out a little bit because he's pretty good at that. And then hopefully the Bog Conjurer can do some more damage. All right, so now we're starting a new round. Bog Conjurer will do the same thing again. We're going to target the Bog Shadow, see if we can take him down. So rolling for an 8 or less. Ooh, yes. All right, so we passed on the strength test, did 5 damage, but we only needed to do 2 damage to this one. So what happened is this one explodes, causing a piercing damage. So I take a damage. My Bog Conjurer takes a damage. And both of these guys, now this one's dead, killed by the Bog Conjurer. Now both of those take a hit for that attack, which is good, kind of soften them up a little bit. All right, now the Bog Conjurer is finished, and now my Bloodsport Brawler is going to go, and we're going to decide who we want to attack. All right. If we can get rid of this one here, that will prevent me from getting slime, but this one will also prevent me from getting infected. I might have a better chance of getting rid of this one if I can get 4 hits on it. So we're going to target the Scroggin Hunter, and all my tests are agility based. All right, that's a fail on the attack. Passed on the defense test, but I passed low. My power die doesn't help me. I can block 3 damage. So 1 damage comes in from this one. And 1 damage comes in from this one. Since I got hit, I'm infect. No, I'm not in a fungus space. So this infect doesn't do anything. However, the Necro does. The Necro takes 1 XP for each hit. For each damage, I guess. Let me look at this. It's either each hit or each damage. Receive 1 or more wounds. So it doesn't matter how many wounds I receive. As long as I receive at least 1, it's going to take an XP. And this one is slime. So I am now slimed, which is -1 agility. That kind of stinks because that's going to take away my agility test that I can do. And this is until the end of the fight. Okay, not great. All right, going to a new round. We're going to have the Bog Conjurer go, and the Bog Conjurer is going to target the Scroggin Hunter. We need a 8 or less. Oh, perfect. That's perfect right here. All right, so we passed on the 8 for our strength test on the Bog Conjurer. Did 6 damage since our highest roll, so that was more than enough to kill this one. This Bog Conjurer is freaking crazy strong. Leaving only 1 monster left for us to fight. All right, so with that, we're going to roll against, the Bloodsport Brawler is going to roll against the Mold Mummy, and hopefully we can get a better roll. Now we have -1 agility, so our agility tests are now on 7s, 7 or lesses. All right, we finally passed on the defense or on the attack, we can do 3 damage to it. Has 0 armor, so 3 damage is going to bring it to 4 total. We failed on the agility test for our defense, but our power die can be applied to block the damage of 1 incoming enemy. Since this one hits for 4, no hits came in because I was able to block a total of 6. All right, next is we're going to go back to the Bog Conjurer again and just have him roll the same thing. He is going to roll against the Mold Mummy for strength of 8. Nice. I think that's a kill right there. All right, so 5 damage comes in. That was a successful pass. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so this is enough to kill him. All right, we've now completed all of our enemies, which the Bog Conjurer was the only one able to do something. So we'll start here. Bog Conjurer gets 2, 4, 5 XP. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move that up there. So he's going to go to 6. And gets 1, 2 gold. So it's back to what he had before. Now we're going to roll a loot roll, and we're going to get to draw a loot card if, since we got 5, it has to be a 5 or less on this roll. Got a 3, so we can draw a loot card. All right, so the loot card we're going to get is, hopefully it's not a monster. Oh, thank goodness. All right, Wizard Pipe. All right, so when you use a herb or place it under this card, you may place it under this card instead of discarding it. When you use that card a second time, you must discard it. So it allows you to use herbs like twice. All right, so that's going to go to our Bog Conjurer. He is stacking up on loot like crazy. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is we decrease the danger level of our space that we're in. So that's going to go to a 5, and our encounter is done. All these guys are going to go into the discard pile for the Wetlands monsters. And then we move on to the next next map action phase, or we may choose to rest here. That may be, although I'll just say this, if I choose to rest here, my odds of drawing another encounter card are pretty high. If I'm on the road or I'm on the path, then the Tomb Lake is what I'm going to be referring to. So I'm going to make that gamble here and say that we're going to keep ourselves in the cautious stance, but I'm going to move. I'm going to foot travel to the path, getting me 1 closer to the stone circle to where I need to be. All right, since we did that, we're in the path. We're using the Tomb Lake as our danger level. So I'm going to draw the next danger card. And we get Burning Lakes. All right, so Burning Lakes is going to go up in danger. Where are you, Burning Lakes? Right here. I believe that's our Burning Lakes. So it's going to go from a 4 to a 5. All right, there was one thing I did not do. I did not take the slimed condition off of my Bloodsport Brawlers. This would have been at the end of the fight, even though he still is demoralized and won't be able to take that off until he does a recovery. Okay, so going to the next part of our card, we have a 3. All right, so here's where we finally might have a chance to increase this card. If we can increase this card to a 4, we can avoid an encounter with 2 enemies. So what we're going to do is, since we're both in the guarded stance, we are going to take what's called a stealth test. Each person needs to pass a perception test, and if we both pass a perception test, then we can increase that danger card value by 1. All right, perception 4, we'll start with the Bloodsport Brawler because he's got the lowest one with 6. So we're going to try to pass a test on 6 or lower. Please, 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 please. Dang it. All right. Test failed, so we could not lower the card, so we're going to go ahead and just resolve it. So we need to draw an encounter for the Wetlands and see what we get. All right, Wetlands encounter. is resolve immediately. You come across a stilt-walking savage making her way through the wetlands with an assortment of odd items dangling on ropes below her. The party may fight, approach, or ignore her. If we approach, if there are any wild adventurers in the party, the bog walker will agree to trade. Trading, we draw 2 items from the loot deck in perception order. Each adventurer may choose to exchange one of these items with one of their own items, regardless of gold point value. I'm going to look at this card and then decide what I want to do. Alright, I think I'm going to probably just ignore her right now. I really want to get to that stone circle. I want to rest as well, and I'm about to have to take on 2 fights, so I don't really want to have a potential. I don't know if when I'm drawing from this trade action here, if I draw any monsters from the loot deck, if I'd have to resolve those or not. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and err on the side of caution and say I'm just going to ignore her. So that's all we're going to do, is we're going to ignore that, and then we're going to go ahead and draw our enemies. All right, for this, we have 2 adventurers, so we're going to be drawing 2 enemies, and we'll bring those out here. All right, so these are going to be from the Wetlands Monsters. Okay, so 1, 2, and see where they go. All right, we have Mold Beast. This one's to the lowest perception. This one has ambush if we're in a fungus space, but we're not. And then gas, I'll have to go read that one. This one has explode and slime. I know what those do. This one is highest constitution, no arrival abilities, but it has horde. I guess this is it's partnered with any other that say ooze, and also slime. All right, so highest constitution, looks like that's going to be our Bloodsport Brawler. And lowest perception, also Bloodsport Brawler. All right, ambush does not take effect, but gas does. So let's see what that is. Each adventurer in the monster space must make a constitution test. If you fail this test, you become poisoned. So each adventurer, that's both of us, are going to be taking a constitution test. All right, so constitution, wait. Yeah, okay. All right, so constitution test for this one is going to be a 9. So we'll go ahead and see if we can get that. Ooh, no, we did not. Holy crap. All right, poisoned. -1 constitution. This is going to be until recovery. So that's another 2, or that's just 2 life off right there. All right. So we got that done, and then we'll also need to pass it with Bog Conjurer. It's going to need to pass with a 7. All right, so Bog Conjurer passed with a 6. So we're getting really lucky with our rolls with the Bog Conjurer. All right, so we have 2 enemies that are engaged with the Bloodsport Brawler. We've taken care of all the arrival abilities, so now all we need to take care of is finding out which one we want to target. All right, so this one's going to be tough because it's got 12 life, no armor, and this one has 8 life and 1 armor. Okay, so I think for the Bog Conjurer, I might try to use my Puzzle Prison out here. This is going to basically replace my combat action, but I might use it to take this guy off the board that has the 12 health, and see if we can take him out of the fight. So first thing we're going to do is we need to make a magic test. So we need to see if we pass or fail. Our magic is a 10 because of the exalted, not exalted, because of the fungus that we have. So magic test, looking for a 10 or less. Okay, we get a 6, so we passed on that one. Now we can put a monster with XP val equal to or less than the magic test. So we're going with the highest one, which is a 4. So we can put something with an XP val equal to or less than that under this card and remove him from the fight. So we're removing the Mold Beast from the fight, and he'll be gone, and we do not get a reward for that at the end of the combat round. So that was my total combat action. Now we're only leaving 1 that's engaged with the Bloodsport Brawler. And oh gosh, okay, so we're gonna stay in the guarded stance. The only reason why is because I already have some health knocked off on the guy, so I'm feeling a little shaky because of my -1 constitution, and I need to get that demoralized off. So I will stay in the guarded stance, so a power die is going to go to defense. So we're going to roll Bloodsport Brawler and see what we get. Okay, I failed the defense. I passed on the attack. However, my 1 power die can block 3 damage, but he does 4 damage, so 1 got into me, so that now means I am slimed until the end of the fight with -1 agility. That just keeps happening to me. I did damage him for 3, which means he has an armor of 1, so 2 damage came in. And we're working him down. All right, now we go to a new fight round. I'm going to have the Bloodsport Brawler make an attack using strength. So we need a 8 or less. Okay, we passed. Passed with 2s. He can do 2 damage, so that means only 1 comes in, so now he has a total of 3. Next, what I'm going to do is Bloodsport Brawler. We'll just make a regular, same thing, guarded stance. See what we get. Fail on the attack. Fail on the defense. I can block 2 damage. This one did 1 to me before for the slime. Now, since I'm only blocking 2, he does 4, so I get another 2. 1, 2. So right there with my XP counter. Man, he's just not having the best luck. All right, so Bloodsport Brawler's done. So we're going to have Bog Conjurer make an attack. Ooh, that went way off. All right, so he failed on the attack. He failed, but yeah, he can't do anything since he failed on that. All right, so we'll have now the Bloodsport Brawler go, staying in the guarded stance. All right, fail the defense. Since we're in the guarded, power die will block all 4 of the damage coming in. I did pass finally the agility test for the attack, so I could do 4 damage, which means 3 come in because of the 1 armor. So he only needs to be damaged 1 more time. All right, Bloodsport Brawler, come on, finish him off. All right, rolling for Strength 8 test. Failed. Okay, so Bog Conjurer's out, failed on that, so now we'll roll for the Bloodsport Brawler next. Okay, 7. I barely passed on that. And I passed on my defense as well. So I blocked all the damage coming in. I did 4 damage to him, -1, so 3. So that was 1 more than I needed to actually kill him. So Bloodsport Brawler finally got a kill. So we don't get this thing. This has gone away. This is just discarded. And the Slime Corpse gave the Bloodsport Brawler 1 XP and 1 gold. So that's 7 and 1. And we're going to have to roll basically a 1 if we're going to want to try to get any loot. Okay, we got a 2, so we were unsuccessful there. The only thing left to do is decrease the danger level in our space. Since it's Tomb Lake, we go from a 3 to a 2. All right, and we've now finished out our round all the way, so we can go ahead and continue on to our next action. Whew. All right. I should stay here and rest, but I'm not. And the reason why is because once I make it to Stone Circle, this one has it's unlikely that I'm going to draw anything that's going to bring an encounter on me. So for my next phase, I am going to, and here's where it's going to get, let's see, I won't be able to search until next round. So, okay, I will stay in the cautious stance, doing foot travel to Stone Circle. I finally made it to Stone Circle with all of my people attached and alive, so hopefully I got most of that right. So we did the forced march, that we're staying there, and now we're going to draw our danger card, and we're consulting this level here for Stone Circle, which is a 2. All right, we have another reshuffle danger deck. All right, good news is this does not increase the danger level anywhere, but we need to consult the number 5. That's way too high for this, so we're not going to be drawing any encounters or monsters, but we do have to shuffle the danger deck. So I am going to do that now. So we'll add in those discards and shuffle it up. Go ahead and cut. And then it's ready to go for our next encounter. Okay, so now that we're there, I'm going to leave. No, in order to do a explore, which actually we can stay in the cautious stance. I don't have to get out into the bold stance because he can make an explore test in the cautious. So I'm going to leave my guys in the cautious stance, and we're going to do an explore with the Bog Conjurer. He's going to go ahead and make his explore test using magic instead of perception. His magic is, looks like it's a 10, so we're going to need to pass on a 10 or less. We passed on a 7, so we did really good. That means this area has been explored. And we can now remove clue number 3. All right, so we're going to go ahead and consult the mission book on clue number 3. So what this is the, what did we do? All right, we've delivered the head to the stone circle. The soothsayer thanks you for your efforts and whispers secrets about your wondrous palace temple hidden deep in the mountains of the mouth. If you dare follow the dubious directions of this delirious dead man, continue to visions at the peak on page 4, or choose to ignore the rotting fool and establish a base here in the swamp. All right, guys. So we, at this point, have finished. Actually, no, we're not done yet. I can remove the clue. I don't want to get way too ahead of myself because I believe we still need to resolve all the encounters before we can officially call this one done. All right, the next danger card we draw for that explore action is our current space gets a increase in danger level. So that's going to go from a 2 to a 1. Say it isn't so. All right. And here we're going to consult these numbers. If we're in a metaphysical space, it's a 6. Or non-metaphysical space, it's a 6. In a metaphysical space, it'll be a 4. All well too high for the town danger level, which is actually a town level now. It's no danger level. So we don't draw any encounters and we don't deal with any bad guys. So that is just discarded. And now we can officially say we have finished the first mission of On the Run. And what I want to say is all the things that increased the danger level, those are going to stay on the board for the next mission that we start. So things like Graveyard is at a 5. We have Temple of Madness at a 6. Skull Bridge at a 5. Wastelands 4. Witchwood went down to 3. Sunken Village is at a 6. 5 for Burning Lakes. 2 for Tomb Lakes. We actually brought that down a little bit for the fights. So that's where we're at. So now, what do we have over here? You know, I could have chosen to... Okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit. I don't want to be dumb. I don't think that this is going to follow us. I think everything's come off, but I would have taken a rest action on these guys, which would have been good to take all of these things off here, which is going to be good for our guys. We would have done a morale test on... Well, let's start with the Bog Conjurer. The Bog Conjurer would have done a morale test for 6 to see if we can heal all those wounds up. Failed on the morale test, so it can heal up 3. 2, 3. And then the Bloodsport Brawler would have done a rest. Passed with a 6, so it was able to increase his wounds all the way up there. I think now I'm going to call this one done. So this will be the second attempt that we did at the game. And we'll see which path I choose when I get the next video uploaded. Hopefully it should be in a very short time. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, subscribe for more updates and more content from the channel. And send me any comments if you noticed any mistakes I made. Any rules that I needed to clarify, let me know, and I will go ahead and get that commented on as soon as possible. Thanks, and we'll see you guys later.